All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Paul McMillan II, and welcome to another live New York session. So it's Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. So once again, we're going to be trading on NAS100, which is NASDAQ. Before we even get started, we want to check the news. And looks like all pairs are going to be under some major news today. The US dollar is going to be under some serious major news around 10 o'clock. So we're definitely going to be keeping that in mind. So we'll be looking out for that. As the US dollar does affect the NASDAQ index as well. So what we're going to do is start marking up a market structure on the 15-minute to the 4-hour time frame. So we're going to start going back and forth in price as far back as possible. So that way we can get an idea what price is doing in the future, in the past, so that way we can get an idea of what more likely is going to do in the past. So let me do that real quick. All right, so as we can see, this is as far back as price went. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start marking institutional support and resistance. So these are areas where price, these are areas where in the past institutions have gathered a lot of liquidity and then made a big move. And these are the type of moves that we actually want to be in. So as you can even see here, price interacted with resistance here, made a huge drop down in here. So that's a good area. Push this up to here. See another good one here. See another good one there. And what I'm going to do is just start marking up zones in these areas. All right, got to get this over here. So then I want to move on to the 30-minute time frame. And we are going to do the same thing. So this is where the last vertical line was. So we're going to mark up these areas here. Let's see, green there. Yeah, this is probably a good area. Yeah. I just push this down here. Maybe this goes down here. Yeah, that's probably more appropriate than I'll do this one. Then I'm going to draw my zones. So now I'm going to move on to the 1 hour. see. Our last marked up. 30-minute, and there's the vertical line. So working all these up here. Say that. Now we're going to move to the 4 hour. You can see this, we marked up so much so far. So now we're at current price. And then I'm going to draw our main supply zone down here. This is the very bottom. I'm going to make that purple. Yeah. So then now what I'm going to do is just go to 15-minute time frame. As you can see, we drew our supply zone here. Again, we got another zone up here. Push that maybe a little bit. So now that we have completed, step 1. So now we're going to move on to step 2. And typically what I do is step 2 is identify the trend. Now it looks like that there's a lot of consolidation here, but I also see that price actually trended down somewhat. That's why we see a lot of lower lows and lower highs here. You do see a lower high, but I want to think that price is overall bearish at this point. I can kind of see that on the RSI. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say that price is overall bearish. I'm gonna draw a trend line right here. I just push that a little bit up here. So overall bearish at this point. Say the progress now. Then what I want to do is just turn on my higher high, a lower low strategy indicator. We're going to find the most recent high. Probably going to end up being this. And this one. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. These are going to be my break and retest points. So if price breaks this high here, then I'm going to consider it bullish. If it breaks this low here, then it's definitely bearish. So these are going to be my break and retest lines. So that's typically how our trade is. I like to trade on the break and retest, because then I'll know which imbalance gap that the institutions want to go for, whether it's down here, whether it's up there, plain and simple, right? So then the very next thing I like to do is turn on my institutional indicator. And so I like to analyze the most recent move. So this here is the most recent move here, causing an imbalance in price, but they came back and mitigated this area at least up to this point. So they could buy price up to fill this imbalance, but then maybe decide to shoot price back down and sell it, or they could just sell it right away and get all this imbalance here. Now, if price breaks and retests this, then they're clearly trying to get all this imbalance up here. So this really depends on what they want to do. Whichever direction they decide to go, that's what we're going to trade. So I'm going to go ahead and put my risk to reward tools in place. Now with my risk to reward tools, I try to get at least a risk to reward of 1, sometimes 2 to 1. Now price breaks and retests, it comes down here. Then I try to get at least, 20 pips in NAS, at least. At least maybe 600 pips. So this would be take profit 1. And then I would probably look for price to reverse maybe at this point, or to hit this support here. And that's what I would be looking for. So that's what I'll be looking for. Now, if price decides to buy, then same thing, at least a risk to reward of 1, sometimes 2 to 1. So I would want to get at least 600 pips worth of NAS if I could. First TP, and then I would be looking for price to at least maybe hit this resistance zone or this imbalance zone and mitigate this area and then come back down. So I will put the second TP up here. That's what I would be looking for. So now what I'm going to do is label this take profit. So this is TP1. This is 780 plus pips. This is going to be 1,800 plus pips. It's going to be 600 plus pips. $1,400 plus pips here. Now that I marked that up, I'm going to go ahead and set my alerts for my take profit zone, and I'm moving to the next step. Be right back. All right, so I went ahead and set my alerts. We got 1 more minute until the New York session officially starts. So next thing I'm going to do is just turn on my Delorean EMA indicator. Now, the reason why I use this indicator is because it gives me extra confirmation on top of anything I'm doing. So anytime when the yellow EMA crosses the red EMA and is either above or below the 50 EMA, it's usually a sign of a very strong candle or a strong trend coming. Kind of like here, price was above the 50 EMA, Yellow EMA across the red EMA, very strong bullish trend. Same thing down here, strong bearish candle form. When the yellow EMA crossed the red EMA and it went below the 50 moving average. Now, New York session just started. So in this case, I see prices above the 50 moving average. So I want to probably conclude that price is still really bullish at this point. So I want to change the trend line. So what's probably going to happen is price is probably going to maybe buy up, maybe to this point, hit this area, and then maybe sell down. Now, if price does go up to that point, let's say it busts this recent high here, this may be a good buy up to this point. So we'll see. But let me change this here. Change it to overall bullish. Now, 8 o'clock. Very next thing I'm going to do is sit on my hands and wait. So, pull this up a little bit. What I typically do is I typically wait for the 9:45 candle to start making my decision between 9:45 and 12 p.m. So the New York session is open. So we're pretty much just going to sit in our hands and wait until pretty much, of course, the 9:30 bell, because that's when price typically starts moving a lot quicker. Then 9:45, we're going to start looking to see if we can get a sniper entry. So what I'm going to do is just pause this recording and we'll see what happens until then. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we're at the 9 o'clock bell now. So we got about like another 30 minutes until we can really see what price is going to do. When we look at investing.com for NASDAQ 100 technical analysis, that's NAS100. Moving averages is technical indicators are saying to buy, but they're saying it's neutral right now. So basically that lets us know there's any consolidation, but soon we're going to figure out exactly where price is going to go. I'm thinking it's overall bearish, but I see that price is respecting this 200 EMA. So it may buy up, but we're going to have to wait and see. So we'll see what's going on soon. All right, guys, so we got 5 seconds to the 9:30 bell. What's it going to do? We're about to find out. 9:30. Now we do have 10 o'clock news. I'm probably going to wait for that 10 o'clock candle. But if it passes this 200 moving averages and breaks this, that thing drop it. But we see that it's rejecting the 200 EMA. Going bullish. It's rejecting the top. I'll wait for a few minutes. The bus is past this high. Pause this recording. All right, so then we see price buying up. Let's see if it knocks out this high. But I'm going to confirm to make sure it's not a fake out either. So let's see. Is it fake out or is it pushing up? I'm watching these institutions. I'm watching them. So now it's pulling back a little bit. Rejecting this high. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for the 9:45 bell. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, so we got about less than 10 seconds for the next candle closes. So this is going into the 9:45 candle. We'll see what price decides to do. There it is. Looks like it's pushing down. So I'm wondering if this is a banker's candle. It was definitely a fake out. We'll see what they want to do. See, it's above the 50 EMA. It looks like it might be rejecting the EMAs. Pushing down. We'll see in a minute here. All right, so we have about 16 seconds left until the 10 o'clock candle. Let's see what price does. See what this candle does here. Still moving back and forth. Let's see. Pushing up now. Let me pause this. It looks like price is selling, but you need to wait for it to break this here. Breaks the next candle close below and it hits that, then we know we're going to the next zone. Zone popping. So let's see if it breaks it. probably gonna wait for the next candle. Got 7 minutes left on this candle. So it's popping through the missing average, 200 EMA. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's punching through. Like it's punching through. I'm going to see a little bit more. Yeah, it's pushing through. Let's see a little bit of a wick though. It's pushing back a little bit. Yeah. Yep, she's still rejecting that spot. Probably going to wait for the next candle. Probably what I'm going to do.
Yeah, me too, because she's stalling right there at the 200 EMA and that demand zone.
Yep. So we got 15 seconds until we hit the 10:15 candle. So if the candle breaks past here, it might be in a sell mode. So we got to wait and see. Goes the next candle. Is this candle going to break, or is it going to respect this and buy up? Let's find out. We'll see in a couple of minutes here. Looks like price might be starting to break through this area. Yep. Need to see it grab some momentum. All right, I'm getting in on the sell. She was retracing on there. Should have waited. Crap. But it's selling. There we go. It's tracing up, keep on going back, but I think it's going to sell. We went a little too quick, a little too quick. Let me pause this recording and see what we get out of that. All right, so it looks like candles finally closing down. The mistake I made was actually getting in a little too early. I should have waited until this candle closed and then got in. But it's all good. So let me share my phone screen here real quick. But first of all, let me trail my stop loss here. Stop loss trail, so we're good. So now, so $58, $62 in profit, $595 profit today. So we still got the second one. So now let's share the main screen and see what price is at. Still dropping, loving it. We want to trail this stop loss a little bit closer, dropping even more. 60. Really dropping now. Let's see what's in the book. It's come up to indicate shortly, so yeah, it's dropping. I'll pause this recording, and if it hits my take profit, then boom, I'll record again. Be right back. All right, guys, so it looks like I'm almost $100 in profit. I'm gonna share my phone screen and close that. Then I might see if it hits my first take profit, but if it takes a little bit longer, I probably just want to end this session. So then let me close this. That was a $689 profit. Let me make a note of that real quick here. So it looks like prices kind of retracing back and it's not moving. It might eventually hit down to these take profits later on. But I'm gonna just go ahead and end this session. I will be doing a back testing session on how to avoid fake outs, because I did jump into this candle too early because it broke here, but I should have just waited for the next candle. So I'm going to be doing a back testing session on how to avoid that next time. That way it'll be good training for me and this team. So see you guys in the back testing session, and let's get it.